So every now and then we come across a story where there are no winners, right?
Mm-hmm.
People look bad on either side of this. So
Yeah.
the ongoing saga of Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese
Mm-hmm.
kind of pulled in some more folks. So recently, their teams had a game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hard file from
Yeah.
Caitlin over to Angel, and it was a big blow up and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of bubbled up, and so Robert Griffin III,
RG3, baby.
yep, RG3, had also has a podcast. Well, he made a comment about this black woman, meaning referring to Angel. This black woman hates this white woman, right? And so some people said this optics didn't necessarily look very good, especially because his other half, RG3, is white. So you've got him standing there, black man, with this white woman making a comment about a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
So people jumped online and wanted to take RG3 to task. One of those folks was Ryan Clark, who also, for those that don't know, played in the NFL a bunch of years and is also an employee of ESPN, and he too has a podcast called The Pivot. So he's got his Pivot podcast. So this is what happened. And so he took shots at RG3 for his comments in suggesting that someone who has a penchant for being with white women should not be speaking ill of black women, right? In summary, right? To which RG3 gave a touche and came back and really checked Ryan, because Ryan, despite the fact that he's got a black wife, has a white baby mama. And so he came back at him saying, oh, so you're questioning me, and I'm paraphrasing, folks.
Yes, right.
Questioning me about my affection for my partner who happens to be white when you were playing with the other team as well, too. So let's not forget that.
Right.
And so some words and things were passed back and forth to the point now Ryan is apologizing to RG3 because there was some simmering and some talk that maybe Ryan may lose his gig at ESPN for some of the inflammatory things that he said. To which then Stephen A jumped in there and said, stop the nonsense. I'm going to use all of my influence, whatever influence I have, for Ryan to keep his job. They shouldn't be firing him. Now, he did say some things that were not necessarily, listen, he works for Disney, right? You need to be mindful. Maybe in the barbershop, on his podcast, not that big of a deal. But when you work for Mickey, you need to check yourself and be very mindful of what you say. They ain't hollering that. Anytime you want to question that, go ask Shannon Sharp how that worked out for him, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Ain't nothing even been proven. It hadn't even been proven, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's no longer there. So, very long intro, but my question, bruh, is, as I said, there's no wrong. This is one of those stories where, in my opinion, where both sides don't necessarily look good. But do you see a winner and loser in this? And if so, who is it? Ryan Clark or Robert Griffin?
I think the winner is ESPN and their podcast. Yeah, absolutely. Listen. We're all in this space, and everybody loves to debate topics, and it's all about the ratings. So all of this is show business, bro.
So let me just so I'm clear with this.
Yeah.
So RG is no longer an ESPN. It's just Ryan Clark. So you're saying that the casual viewer is now tuning into ESPN because because his name has been
it has nothing to do with RG3.
Right, his name's being bantered about, so people are going in.
Right, but Ryan Clark is, right? And now Stephen A is jumping in, right? And talking about being fired, and Stephen A has been through his drama, Shannon Sharp and all of that, right? So ESPN is will always be the winner in any of these organizations who's, have these shows on where there's any kind of type of controversy, where two people are fighting, going back and forth, especially when it comes to race, is going to benefit from it. Now, if you're asking, do I think either of them are wrong, RG3 or Ryan Clark, I don't, because it's simply their opinion, right? And I'm not quite sure why people are saying, or ESPN is saying, or I don't know if they said you need to watch your mouth or whatever, like, or become, it's an opinion, right? And that is RG3's opinion. That is Ryan's opinion. They're just stating it. I don't think that either of them did anything wrong except for state their opinion, okay? That's what RG thinks, right? And that's what Ryan thinks, okay? So
do you think that he loses in this case?
Who's he?
In this case, Robert loses any, for lack of a better word, credibility because of his relationship?
No.
Right? Does he therefore now, because so the woman he's with now, and then remember he was married to a white woman.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Listen.
So does this somehow, some way kind of remove himself? Should he remove himself from making criticism about black women?
No, not at all. Listen, RG is my guy. Because I'm a big Washington fan, right? RG was with us when they were the Washington Redskins, right? Now I got my guy JD5 in the house, right? Now RG was the first JD5, first Jaden Daniels, right? He was prolific, great quarterback, only had one great year, and then he went down, But I'm just saying, yeah, he likes white women. Okay. This world, even in 2025, they're so colorblind. And I saw that play, right? And that was a hard foul. That was a hard foul.
Oh, you mean the Caitlyn on?
Yeah, Caitlyn
Angel Reese.
Right. I saw that. I was like, whoa. I said that was crazy. So it is interesting how RG saw that play, because me just looking at it from an unbiased viewer, right? I never look at color. I don't care, black, white, or whatever. You can be married to any race that you want, right? As long as they have a good heart and they have a good soul. There's only a few people that look at that. And I gotta say, it's mostly us, right? It's mostly us who have a problem with our own dating outside our race. Not that it doesn't happen in other races, but I feel, it's my opinion, that it happens more in our race when we are dating someone who is not black.
I think you're wrong with that. I'm gonna assume.
Oh, I'm definitely not wrong. I'm right.
No, I think the fact that you say that it happens, that you feel like it happens more so within our race than others, I disagree. I think you maybe feel that way because you belong to that affinity group. But I would think about any group that belongs, or any community that belongs to a certain group. It's known for dating their own, or being inside, or being secular, and kind of communicating or interacting with their own. I don't think black folks in particular own the exclusive rights on that. Like, if you were of a certain religion, if you're from a certain part of the country, culture in many cases determines that we should be with like-minded folks. So that part I disagree. I think it just feels different for you because you're in that group. And I think we can sometimes, when we belong to a group, that we're in a bubble. My 2 cents.
Well, it doesn't feel like that way. When I say it doesn't feel like that to me personally, because remember, I told you, I don't care. I don't care about color. But when I speak to some black women, I feel a lot of them, when you are dating a white woman, whether you're married to them or they're just your girlfriend, women I've spoken to, and I know a lot of women, just girlfriends, black girlfriends or whatever, they don't like it. And they would much rather you date another black woman, one of their peers, versus going outside their race. So when you look at people like RG3, who had white girlfriends and now white wife, and Ryan Clark, who has a white baby mama, they don't like that, bro. You know that. They just don't like it, okay? But I do believe what they did, and what RG3 did, whether his wife is white or not, I think he saw the play that he saw. I'm surprised because how I saw that play, like I said, Caitlin Clark was in the wrong. That's how I saw it. And again, I'm not looking at color. So I think both parties have the right to give their take on it. We may not agree with either or of their takes, but it is what it is. I don't think anyone should be getting in trouble, or anyone should be losing a show or being fired from a position at ESPN or wherever they're working simply because of giving their opinion. This is why I'm saying, like, this whole media landscape, like people getting in trouble for their opinions, it doesn't make sense to me. And I just think it needs to stop. It really doesn't. It's really frustrating, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, that's valid, Jay. That's certainly valid perspective. The last thing I would just say in this, I don't think just because of RG3's relationship that he now should have a gag order from speaking about some, you know what I mean, about black women. It has nothing to do with anything. I like Ryan Clark, and I like the Ryan Clark podcast version, right? I think Chan and Fred and Ryan have a great podcast. So I enjoy seeing them more so than I do his version of Ryan on ESPN. Right. And I like that. I was a little bit, I think I was a little bit surprised that Ryan came for RG3 like that from that comment. But, you know, does he really feel that way? I don't know. I mean, hell, if people are pulling out the fact that Ryan's got a white BM, well, I'm sure Ryan knows that, right? You know what I'm saying,
exactly.
right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of like, well,
and that's just a BM,
right? And so I'm like, maybe was that just kind of hot take, clickbait kind of stuff he was trying to create? Because he did make a comment. At least there was a quote in the article, assuming that it was true, that he didn't even know it was a story. Right? Like, you know, people will take that snippet and they blew it up and it kind of caught him off guard, is my understanding, too. So it was like, whoa. So, you know, it's just saying a whole bunch of things and then that someone extrapolated that one line out. So it wasn't really a thing to him, at least according to what he was saying. So it's just interesting. I just thought, you know, I always find it interesting where you see these athletes kind of go at each other, where you think it's kind of more they belong to this fraternity. Marcellus Wiley, he and Ryan Clark were also going at it, right? You know, it's saying Ryan could be a little bit spicy, you know what I mean? And so he and Marcellus were kind of going back and forth, and it was supposedly going to throw hands and all this other. Marcellus is like, that ain't me, bro.
Right.
Like I'm not that, right? So I hope these guys get this whole thing worked out. They both put out great content, good shows. I follow them. I enjoy this, and I don't want to see these guys fight.
And it all works out. Like I was saying, in terms of the media landscape, it all works out for them. All publicity, even any publicity, whether it's negative or not, it's positive publicity, because they could not be talking about RG3 anymore because he's not the superstar player he was once before, and they could not be talking about Ryan Clark. So at least they're talking about them, and it's going to help both of their podcasts, shows, whatever they're doing in the media landscape. It just works for everybody. And frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't all planned. Anytime anybody goes up and there's negativity, when LeBron and Stephen A was going about it, what did it do for Stephen A's podcast and ESPN show? The ratings through the roof. It's all about ratings, right? It's all about the money. So it is what it is. We'll see how it works out.